This week is Shabbos Varchim Chodesh Nisan, and therefore it's Parsha Chodesh. So I'll share a thought on Parsha Chodesh. The Rebbe in the Maimer brings the pasuk of Chodesh Zeh Lechem Rishon Chodesh Zeh Lechem Reish Chadashim Rishon Hu Lechem L'Chadshei Hashana. That this month of Nisan is the first month of the year. It's the first month and the first month of the months of the year. The Rebbe brings from the Frierdiker Rebbe in a Maimer that the Frierdiker Rebbe quotes a Targum that explains how originally before Matan Torah and Tzias Mitzrayim, Tishrei was the first month of the year. But once Yidden went out of Mitzrayim, once Matan Torah, so then it switched that Nisan is the first month of the year. And the Frierdiker Rebbe asks that if Tishrei originally was the first month of the year, what's the reason for the switch that it just switched to Nisan being the first month of the year? Seemingly, you might say it's because of the Geula that happened to the Yidden during the month of Nisan, so therefore it deserves to be first. But the Frierdiker Rebbe says that we know the Gemara says that already from Rosh Hashanah the Yidden stopped being slaves. So in a certain sense, the beginning of the Geula was already in Tishrei. So if so, why is it that that the first month switched from being Tishrei to it's switching that Nisan is now the first month of the year? The Rebbe explains by first comparing it to a different question that's asked in Chassidus, and the Nekuda, without going too much at length, the Nekuda the Rebbe brings out from other Maimarim and other places in Chassidus is that Hashem runs the world. We know in the Jewish calendar we have the yearly cycle, and the year is broken up into months. The Rebbe explains that the year is Lashon Shana, goes according to the sun, is the idea of consistency. And that's the idea that Hashem, we know the Reish is that Hashem gives energy, through the Reish for that year, for that month, if it's the Reish Chodesh. And so Rosh Hashanah of the year represents the idea that Hashem designates, or gives through the Reish how he's going to run the world in a way of Teva, in the way of Medida Bagbal, in a limited way. And the idea of a month, Mashon Chodesh, Mashon Chidush, and it goes by the moon that changes, represents the idea that how Hashem conducts the world in a miraculous way, in a not a natural way. And so the Rebbe explains that before the Yidden left Mitzrayim, even the Chidush that there was in the world, even the things that happened that were higher than the world, higher than the order of the world and the nature of the world, that when Hashem did that, there was still in the Lashon of the Maimer, it was not mislabish in the Olamis, but it was still at a shaychus Olamis. To give an example, maybe that I one time went to another country. I was visiting another country one time. And in this country, a lot of the people there are known to have, some of them are very, very, I don't want to say punctual, they're very, everything's very masudar for them. So the chassid I was speaking to there told me how one time they brought down Rabbi Yoel Khan to Fabring for Yites Kislev, and he was Fabring for a long time. And the chassidim there and the Yidden there who came to join in the Fabringen got very inspired. And one person after Rabbi Yoel spoke, got up and gave a big clap on the table and said, after such divrei seirus, I'm sure everyone's in the seir, we're going to dance, for 5 minutes. And that's Kankachava, they danced for 5 minutes and then they stopped and they sat down. So what happened? Did they have a certain seirus, a certain bligvul? Did they go out of them? They had that seirus and they went, so to speak, maybe l'maylam ateva for them. Some of the people around the table at that Farbrengen, he was telling me for them to dance was a big chiddush. But sometimes we can have a chiddush, we can go l'maylam ateva, but still be stuck in our certain teva. So the Rebbe explains that before Yetzias Mitzrayim, so the Yidden, the world had idea of chiddush, that Hashem would give energy, in a way of l'maylam medida bagbala, but still it had some shaychus l'olamis. It still was somewhat limited. And this is also the idea that the Yidden, in a certain sense, on Rosh Hashanah, during Rosh Hashanah, they stopped being slaves. The slavery stopped, so there was a certain miracle. But at the same time, they were still stuck in Egypt. They were still stuck. And that symbolized the idea that the beginning of the year, which is Lashon Shana, that everything's consistent, is also the first Chodesh, and that's why originally Tishrei was the first Chodesh. However, with Chodesh HaGeula, with Yetzias Mitzrayim, there was a whole new energy that was given in this world, a whole new ability that was given to this world. And that's the power of Chodesh Nisan that we're going into now. That we could have a Chidush, and we could have Nisim that are L'mayla Mateva, and not just L'mayla Mateva, but L'mayla Mishayachas Eilumas. We could go totally beyond ourselves and reach even greater, and we could go completely out of our Mitzrayim. And this is the idea that the Chidush, the Chodesh, originally the first Chodesh was Tishrei, which had a Shaychus, so to speak, to Eilumas and to Shana. And now, once we have Yetzias Mitzrayim, we have the power of Chodesh Nisan is the Reish HaChadashim, is the first month, because it symbolizes this kayach we have that we could go l'mayla medid v'agbala, we could go out of our mitzarim completely and accomplish even greater things than we even thought we have any shaykhs to. Good Shabbos.